The most legendary boat builder in history, and without a doubt, the character with the best laugh in the game. Today we will be talking about the Viking Floki, the gifted boat builder who is totally devoted to the Norse gods. He is also portrayed as a legendary warrior who took part in countless conflicts, whether they took place in the icy, hostile landscape of Scandinavia, Wessex and the Mediterranean in Paris. In actuality, we don't know very much regarding Floki. There is no proof. According to the story, sources like the Gwest Norum imply that he was best friends with Ragnar Lodbrok. The Volsunga saga and the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle both provide evidence that Floki existed. The Lamdam contains a description of it. Nevertheless, the story of Floki is well known. This tells his story. Nothing is known about him in the earlier years, or at the age of the Viking Age, the 9th century. We know he was born. However, the information we do have on is limited. Wilgard's father also went by the name of Wilgard. He is reputed to be a superb Viking. As we can see, Floki had the last name Vilgarason, which means Vilgard's son. When Floki first appears to us, he's a man and in charge of a single ship's crew. When a great heathen army was in existence, Floki would have been a man. Around 865, they arrived in England. Therefore, Floki might have been a Viking raider at the time, but who was actually known as Floki. He isn't known to have been there because he was absent at the time. He didn't command an army. In addition, the legendary Ragnar Lodbrok's son and the war chiefs were the only men who were truly remembered during the Viking conquest. The Floki legend actually starts with a rumor. A tale of a wanderer would be told to Floki. Had traversed the Icelandic coast without intending to. Nadad attempted to settle in the Faroe Islands by sailing there from Norway. For him, that didn't exactly go as expected. He lost his way while returning to Norway and discovered himself in an uncharted area devoid of any signs of human habitation, and snow had fallen on the ground. After that, he gave it the name Sneerland, which means snowland. Floki made the decision to travel to this rumored mysterious land as soon as the year 868 began. He was aware that no wealth was in store for him. There are no villages nearby to rob or plunder, no men to fight. Even the location of this land was unknown to them. Only one thing was certain. It was extremely far north and close to the Faroe Islands. Floki was placing his entire life at risk for this mission, and many of his crew members would bring their families, pets, and other material possessions with them. Therefore, how did Floki get there? Iceland, when he was unsure of its location, and had just learned a rumor from a sailor. Floki used the sun during the day to determine his location and the stars at night. When it was cloudy, he would use a crystal to see where the sun was, because he lacked a compass, sextant or any other navigational aids. His compass would be the sky. But Floki understood he needed more assistance. Therefore, Floki traveled with 3 ravens, because they were the birds of Odin. Ravens were revered by the Vikings. The god of wisdom was Odin, the Allfather, information and death. He was known to wander the earth among many other things. Thus, Floki's selection of birds might have been pleading for divine intervention via Odin. The Floki would initially depart to the Faroe. From there, he would travel to attempt to locate Iceland. He made decisions to release the ravens after he had been at sea for some time. The first raven returned from the Faroe Island. The second would return to the ship by flying. And the third, however, flew to the northwest and disappeared. Due to the absence of one raven, Odin told Floki that he was almost there, and Floki believed that Odin was guiding him. He moved in the same direction after that. The raven soared over. Soon, Floki and his supporters would be able to see land, and they would be happy. The landscape was exceptionally lovely. It was not just a land of rivers and mountains, however. It was active and had a lot of glaciers and volcanoes. After that, Floki gained the moniker Floki of the Ravens. According to the Vikings, the earth comes from 2 different worlds, Muspelheim and the ice realm of Niflheim, and the realm of fire. Thus, it's understandable why Floki and his team, the landscape they saw, captured their attention. On a bay, they would establish a settlement. There was a lot of wildfire there. They had planned to hang out during the summer. They go egg collecting and fishing and would never go hungry. The group, however, neglected to store hay for the animals they had brought because they were too busy hunting. It was unlike anything they had ever experienced when winter finally arrived. It was freezing, ominous and brutal. Some may even describe it as a living hell, the same as Niflheim. They would soon starve their animals, they would eventually go hungry, and the cold would seep into their bones. Floki decided to leave this desolate region, but escaping from a life that had become hell would not be as simple. They failed to repair their ship during the ensuing summer, and this caused the planning for to be their upcoming trip. They were unable to leave because it was already winter at this point. They endured yet another winter, observing the glaciers as the mountains cover black ash. Finally, when the following summer arrived, all of the survivors left the country they had given a new name of Iceland. Nothing good could be said about the place known as Iceland when Floki returned to the mainland where men lived. However, Herjolf, a member of his crew, would speak extensively about the potential of the land in relation to the discovery of Iceland. It turned out that it wasn't entirely empty. A small group of Irish priests had already established a religious community there when Floki arrived. They probably ran so quickly away for their lives when they saw the approaching Vikings that some of their books and religious objects were left behind. Due to this, it is still credited with the discovery of Floki's Iceland, given that we are unaware of the monks' names who discovered it first. By chance, Floki eventually made his way back to Ireland with his wife, son and another daughter. Along with a town that grew after he settled there, he would establish himself near a river. His name too, Floki and his loved ones. They intended to live out the rest of their days in Iceland. In less than a century, in the year 868, Floki made his first trip to Iceland. The land was considered to be completely settled in the year 1930, and it has 25,000 person population, according to estimates. Iceland has grown to be one of the most significant Viking nations, but not because of its strength. However, because it became a Norse hub, the culture of the Icelanders would be studied, the actions of numerous Viking kings, the war chief, war bands, and numerous important battles, much of what we understand about law and history. The writings are what inspired the Vikings. Icelandic poetry and musical compositions, able to tell you about Floki's story because he followed his raven. Besides the many other tales, I may have already told you about other Viking legends. Please share with me in the comment sections, lower down, any ideas you might have regarding Floki's history. Did he have a strong teeth like a warrior? Was it the crew of his lone ship or his army? Or both, only sea raiders? Please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. I'll see everyone again soon in another breakdown of a legendary Viking. I would also advise you to click the video you see on screen right now to find out more about the crazy Viking rituals that Floki would often participate in and why this was so important in the Viking culture. See you in the next one.